Well, tonight's video is all about how to do in-text citations. They can be daunting, but they're actually much simpler than we often think of them. So I have written about a page and a half here of a research paper on Susan B. Anthony. And like many of you, I just went ahead and wrote. I didn't worry about spelling, grammar, punctuation. I didn't worry about in-text citations. But now I need to go back and make sure I cite my sources, so that way my audience knows that I did legit research and it's not just all my opinion or something I pulled out of the air. So I also set up my paper in the correct way for MLA format. This right here is my heading. And my heading includes my name, or Libby Liberal, the teacher's name, the name of the class, and the due date in MLA format. And as I've been teaching you since freshman year, MLA format date is actually the day first, then the month, then the year. Then I've got an extra space here and my title, which is not just the history of Susan B. Anthony. I tried to get a little creative and make it all about what the focus of my paper is. Notice I do not have an extra space here between my title and my first paragraph, because that would be incorrect. And I also do not have extra spaces in between my paragraphs. It's just the next line down, double spaced. So I'm showing you here, same thing. If you have extra spaces in your paper, I will fix them and then do the page count from there. So make sure that you have that all correct. I also went in and did my header, so you can see right here, first page header. And what I did was I typed in my last name, and then I went to Insert, Header and Page Number, and I clicked that. And when you first start off, it'll put all the information over here, and you have to make sure that it's aligned to the right-hand side. But after I click Different First Page, it takes off that information here while keeping it on the rest of my pages. So now every time you go down to a new page, it'll have your header up there. I noticed that a lot of people are putting their heading right here. And if you click up there on the very top of your paper and your heading is in there where it has your name and the teacher's name and all of that, it's in the wrong spot. And you don't want it there anyway, because this drops your paper down quite a bit and it helps with your page count. Wink, wink. So I've got my introduction here. It includes my thesis statement. And notice I do not have any sources cited here, because the introduction is all my words. It does not include anything that needs to be cited. I go on to my first paragraph, and I have all of this great information about Susan B. Anthony's early life, her family, and what her siblings and parents were like, where she was born and all of that. At the end of my paragraph, I want to make sure that I cite what source I got this all from. One problem you may come across is that you might have information from two different sources in one paragraph. So let's say that by the time I get here, I'm about to move on to information from a different source. So before the period, I'm going to put in parentheses the last name of the author who wrote this information that I have here. And then I enclose the parentheses. There's my period on the outside, and I'm good to go. Now, when I get to the bottom here, I have a quote. Anytime you have a quote, you want to make sure you cite where you got that from. And let's say, take out that period, it goes on the outside. Let's say this quote comes from a website where I couldn't find the author. And so what do? I just put the title of the web page in parentheses. In quotation marks. Close the parentheses, and my period goes on the outside. Now going on to my next paragraph, and this is where I stopped. I might have the title of a book from Google Scholar, or maybe the library, or maybe from TMAC, and I couldn't find the author. Well, I'm going to put the title of the book in there. And books actually do not get quotation marks. They get italicized. And if I were to have the rest of my paper, I would just keep doing the same thing. Now, anything that's on your Works Cited page, I need to be able to find in your paper. So make sure that you're not just willy-nilly putting authors and titles of books and articles and web pages, but you're actually citing the sources within your paper that you put on your Works Cited page. Don't forget to format your Works Cited page according to MLA format. I have a video up on that. And this is also a great resource. This is the OWL at Purdue. I just always Google it, and afterwards I put in MLA format. And if you go down here, it tells you everything you need to know. What the general format is. If you get confused on in-text citations, or maybe you have a source like a documentary that I don't go over here in this video, then you can click on that and it'll tell you. It also shows you when you have really big quotations, or maybe you want to introduce a quote. It'll tell you how to do that, and how to refer to your author and then also cite them afterwards with a page number. If you get confused on how to cite some things in your Works Cited page, you've got your options here. And they have a great sample page so that you can see what it looks like. And when I was in college, they actually didn't have all of this extra stuff here. But if you're super confused, go through all of this and see what is it telling you. And you know, don't spend 2 hours doing it, just scan the information. And then before you're ready to turn it into me, double check against the OWL at Purdue and make sure that your paper looks something like this. And as always, if you have any questions, please text me on Remind, email me, come and see me after school. But remember, first period, by the end of first period tomorrow, which is Tuesday, your paper should be done and ready to go.